Hello folks, and welcome back to my channel, the Scottish Model Railway Guy. So today is something a little bit different from what I've been focusing on before, but if you have had a look at some of my shots recently, one of which will pop up here, you'll have seen a very quick overview of how I've put together this tree. Now I'm really interested to hear what your thoughts are, because I'm going to spin round just a fraction. And you can see a hornby tree in the background there, and I'll zoom out a fraction so that we can take that in and get both of them there at the same time. Now, the hornby tree is great without a doubt, but it's expensive. It was a gift, the hornby tree up here, from a friend at work, a donation to the layout. But what I've found is, yes, they look fantastic, but can you afford to fill your layout with lots and lots of £10 trees? The answer to most people, myself included, is a clear no. So you have to get a bit creative if you want to make things like this yourself. So I'm going to rotate round a fraction and try not to have everything drop on me, and sort of centre it, and then I'm going to try and zoom in without too much interference to it, and then tilt back a fraction so you can get a proper look at it. Right, so in the short you'll see me painting this so that the bark is brown, and I will do it to this one in situ, but for now today's video is going to be showing you how to go about it. It isn't a long video because it's surprisingly short to do. All you need is Seafoam, and all you need other than that is a 50-50 mix of PVA and water. Other than that, really not much. You need a little pot to put it in. So we're going to go through the process. If you hang on, here we go. So just very quickly before I take you to the process, this is what I want it to look like. This is another one that I've done. And one of the watch outs is that the Seafoam comes in sort of one dimension, so it's very flat when it comes. So you might need to be very selective, or to rotate 2 or 3 ones round in a circle and glue them at the bottom to get that effect. This one, luckily, the Seafoam came out just nice in the first instance, so I just dipped it and away I went. So some of you will be asking, what is Seafoam? Well, here we go, and I'm going to show you. So you've came this far in the video, you're obviously curious about how to do this, maybe curious about the channel and some of the stuff I've done. If you're a subscriber already, thank you. I appreciate every single one of you and all the comments that you give and all the advice you give too. And if you've never been here before, then now's the perfect opportunity to get on the train. So here we go to the next stage. So what is Seafoam? Well, it comes like this. It's a natural product, and it's grown like a plant. The real trick is trying to select the best species. How do I do that? Sheer fluke. So I'll just grab a piece, see what comes off, separate it out. I'm going to get some of it out my way. And here we are. This is what a piece of Seafoam looks like. So you can see it's far too big for the layout, still got its roots on it. Now I'm looking at this and thinking, if I was to come up to this point, it might start to get interesting. So I'm going to take that away and start by snipping it there. So what does that look like? Very nice, but way too big for the layout still. So I'm looking more down here to see what that would look like, and you can see what I'm getting at here. It's coming down in stages. Still think I need a tree trunk, so I'm going to take that off. But this is what I was talking about. It's really quite one-dimensional. I don't like these curves at the top, it's too far. Snip that. And we're getting a bit more like a tree. Now, trouble is, it's one-dimensional. How do you get it to 2-dimensional? Well, what I do is, I'll get another piece, strip it back a bit, like that, cut it again, And if you can imagine, both of them now sort of opposing each other. Don't like this bit, snip it off, and that for me is beginning to look a bit more three-dimensional, like something random you'd see growing in the British countryside, especially if you sort of turned it like that. You can manipulate the leaves a little to get them out. But the long and short is, the biggest part of the process is taking your time, getting it to something that you think looks fairly natural, and then you would glue it together at the bottom there, which I'll do off camera because it obviously takes a wee while to dry. But on camera, what I'm going to show you is what happens next. It's very, very simple. So this looks dead, and it is, but it preserves for a long time. However, if I want it to look alive, I need to get my 50-50 mix of PVA, which is right here, and that's just going into water. So equal parts PVA, equal parts water, although what I've found is you can get away with slightly less PVA, it depends on the application, but for this one it doesn't need to be swimming in PVA, you just need to get enough to get that bond, but it bonds very quickly, like you shall see in a second. You might be wondering what these two wee red bushes are for. They were another donation to the layout, and I've used them in various places, but I'm going to deliberately sprinkle them to get some bloom to the tree. Okay, so here we go, dip it in, very simple. Make sure the whole thing's wet as in the branches, get off the excess like so, and then scattergrass, hornby, bright green, sprinkle it on, and it takes instantly, and you turn that tree that was dead very quickly into that. Now the part that I actually forgot and should have done earlier is to sprinkle that on, but I'm a little too late because I should have done it the other way. Will it take? I'm not sure, but we shall find out. We'll try the other one, see if there's more loose bits on that, to see if we can get some to fall on it. Otherwise, if it's not going to come, you'd be looking at getting some from some other plant, or I think you can actually buy these things. Now some came, so I'm going to get the bits that fell off, sprinkle it on, and it should take long term as it dries out. Now I'm going to try and get that in focus, and yeah, it came out okay. So the next step is to paint it. Do I need to show you how to paint it? I think I will. The long and short is, you shall stick it preferably into a polystyrene part. Yeah, I'm trying to see if you can see it properly there. Stick it into polystyrene where it can stand up on its own, and you would then paint these little bits here, which we'll do off camera because it will take too long. So yeah, that's the process, and now we're going to jump back to the layout to see how that looks. And literally I'm going to put it straight to layout to dry, why not? Yeah, this one looks okay because it's spread fairly well with the extra weight on it. So it is a little bit thin from that side, but from face on it's good, and from the back it's good. While it's a bit damp, you can manipulate it just a little bit more to whatever position you choose, which I will. And you can see you can bring character to your layout by putting these here. So yeah, skipping on to the next part, here we go. And here we have the article, or one of them, because while I was off camera I did a few, and I think it looks okay. If I just stop that there, this tree over here was done off camera, painted the bottom of it. I think it looks alright, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip through some other ones that I've done and see what your thoughts are on them. So here we go. And I suppose that is the shot. The tree in the background's brought lots of detail, so the sort of one, right, the small one right there is Seafoam, and the one in the background is Seafoam, and there's a lot of variety. There's 3 different Seafoam ones there. And a while back I tried to create an interesting siding down here. Sorry, I'm trying to get this nice and steady for you. I tried to create an interesting siding down here with a little rail. I'm going to move this one out the way, and I'm going to bring the back loco into focus if I can, and I think it's worked. I think it has. There's a lot of different things going on there, but it takes a long time to get there, or a lot of, what's the best way to put it, trial and error. So yeah, just do a wee run and then you can get a feel for how the layout's coming on, and that will be us. Yeah, I think this tree looks spot on. I'm just going to bring the loco back round to this side to finish it off. It definitely adds a dimension to it I didn't have before, so very happy with that, and I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on it, if you have any at all, but hopefully you do. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it, and I've learned something new, which is what it's all about. So thank you for getting this far in the video. Like I said before, if you haven't subscribed before, please do. There's lots of things like this happening all the time, lots of new discoveries for me that I like to share. So yeah, thank you, and I will see you again, folks. Cheers.